Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of 89 Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Adolescence. Now, this show came out, almost a month ago? We're a little bit late in terms of reviewing. I know everybody has said it's amazing, but we wanted to give our take because there's so much to unpack, right?
Agreed.
So, producer, what kind of questions do you have for us?
One thing while the producer is giving us the first question, I would like to give Netflix all the credit that they finally, I think in our last review video, I don't know which video I did
I
personally.
think you did Squid Game.
Right, but in that I said, oh, it's been a while since Netflix released some banger shows. Adolescence, of course, the topic, genre, everything very serious, a very serious message, a very much needed kind of message, I would say, for the audiences. However, amazing show.
Amazing,
Absolutely
yeah.
loved it. But sorry, we'll let the producer give us the questions.
First thoughts. What kind of an emotional ride was this for you?
Oh, emotional, right? You want to go first?
My goodness gracious, it was... Initially, when I first clicked on the show, I had just seen, how on Netflix they have like the trailer kind of thing happening.
Dum.
Yeah, and then like on the main menu, I guess, and I was like, what? And it said one take, and I was like, one take is something very specific. How do you do a one take thing? So I actually went into it not knowing what the show was about. I just figured it was like a murder mystery, but I was more intrigued by the one take situation. So I was like, okay, let me check it out. So I went in blank. No expectations, no sort of, I didn't know what I was in for. And first I was like, oh my God, like I was mostly just like, I guess. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, like literally you could see everything going like this, no cuts, no nothing. So it's like you're in it. It's like I was there, like when they first go in the first scene. And then I was like, ooh, this is serious. Like this is not like a light-hearted, like I'm used to owning murders in the building, which is still funny. It's like a light-hearted comedy. This was like, okay, murder mystery, cool. And then it just became so serious. And I remember at the end of the episode, I think I was just like I had to take a breath. And I was like, next episode.
It's also one shot, right? So you don't get any time to breathe, or when you're watching
None.
shows, you get to check your phone.
Like I feel like I was sitting in the, but I'm not trying
Yeah.
to give away any spoilers.
Yeah,
I feel like I was
yeah.
sitting in the police station.
I
It was
don't-
insane.
I don't think you'll be giving any spoilers because I really truly feel like 99% of the population has seen it now in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah,
Because
that's
also
fair.
one more thing on the one shot thing that you said before telling the producer about the emotional journey, that one shot situation, I feel like that in itself also made the show so famous. Apart from the storytelling and the script and all the actors, because obviously one shot requires the actors
Oh, yeah.
a different level of acting,
Literally,
of course.
like you're on for like 50 minutes.
Yeah, and that one thing that I saw, that little kid who accidentally yawned, and then the psychologist, the therapist
Yeah,
was like,
that was
"Am
the
I am I
therapist.
am I boring you?"
That was like improvised.
Yeah,
Just
and he
insane.
smiled. He genuinely
Yeah.
smiled. I was watching his
And
interview.
they kept going. How
So
did they
that-
remember their lines?
Yeah, imagine the rehearsal, crazy rehearsal. So the one shot thing, wow, it was magical. I was like, and all the videos after that, since the show has released, of how they did it, how the drone came, then the drone was switched into a camera following the policeman. Amazing, because
Yeah.
I feel like all their pre-production, their BTS videos have also become very viral. In terms of the emotional journey, sorry producer, we went a little off track, but in terms of the emotional journey, I would say from my end, I love kids. Let me just make that clear. When I see a kid on the street or anything like that, I'm in a market and some kid is like, "Mama, mujhe ye chahiye," I feel like I want to go get it for them. So I have a soft spot for kids. So when I saw it the first episode, I was like, "There's no way." Again, without any spoilers, I assume 99% of the population has seen it, so I hope so, fingers crossed. I was like, there's no way that the kid is not a victim, but he's also not the culprit. Like there's something more, there's a lot of
Gave him
layers.
the benefit of the doubt.
I did, because he was a kid and he was a child. He was a 12, 13-year-old, 10-year-old. I was like, yeah, it's
But
not
you know
possible.
What's interesting? I, on the other hand, when I was watching it, I did not give any benefit of the doubt. I was immediately like, definitely. Like, why would they have gone? Like, again, this is not a spoiler, but first episode is that they go in to arrest him. Why would they have gone in to arrest him if they didn't have like hard
Valid proof.
So
Fair.
It's very interesting. I guess emotionally speaking, perhaps it was more of a surprise for you.
Yes. However, now just to add on to that, I would say the acting, the parents, the sister, all of the characters, because there weren't too many characters. There were like a limited number of characters, like I would say about 8 to 10 in total in all episodes. Amazing. Definitely an emotional one, like Sharmeen said, throughout every episode. 4 episodes, I think.
4 episodes.
4 episodes. Throughout every episode, I was sitting
I
like
have a
this in front of the
follow-up
TV.
question. I have a follow-up question. Now, for me, it was an emotional ride because I guess I'm a bit more of an emotional person. Perhaps you could say it's because I'm a girl, that it was a lot more hard-hitting because it was a crime against a girl, and perhaps most girls.
Are you about to say I'm not emotionally driven? Or
No, no,
something?
no, no. I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you the emotionally driven fact is that a lot of girls will perhaps see this as very emotionally resonant because this is a regular occurrence, right? As a guy, aside from the fact that you felt sympathy because he was a child and you were like, oh, perhaps he didn't do it, you give him benefit of the doubt.
Right.
The emotional journey, I guess, when more stuff was revealed, how did you feel going about it? Like unpacking everything, how they unpacked it for us as to what led to what. And it's a why done it, not a who done it, which is what I loved about it. They didn't go down the...
It wasn't a murder mystery. It was more like...
it was more like a why.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is
That's
like
very
really
well
more
put.
shows about that. So how was that emotionally?
I would say emotionally, of course, because again, the themes that they touched upon, right? So again, the child, sorry for this somewhat of a spoiler, but the child, obviously, for those who haven't seen it, whether he was, found...
You can just say he was guilty.
He was guilty, let's say that, because that's from the first episode,
Yeah.
right? The reasons that came in front, the sort of, I wouldn't say upbringing, but the element of the society, the impact of the society, or how kids, not in Pakistan, I would say that much. I feel like not in Pakistan so much. I could be wrong.
I feel like we just don't hear about it, but I feel like it's still
Maybe,
prevalent everywhere,
maybe.
you know?
But this new generation of youngsters growing up in this like social media generation. In our time, I remember we were talking about it also. It was all about like turn on the computer, wait for the internet to connect, that sort of thing. So now this generation growing up with so much access to social media and different things, you put one picture on Instagram, you get hate comments, you get something, you look like this and that. So all of that was emotional in a way where I was like, okay, maybe not right now, but one day when and if I ever plan on having, my own family, my own kids, how do I protect them? Right? And it was just that. So it became emotional from that point of view where I was like, oh shoot. Like, are we not safe? Because one thing that I loved about the show was that it was so real. The dad kept mentioning that I was a good dad. And truly, he wasn't a bad dad.
He wasn't a bad
I don't
dad,
know if he was the best dad, but he wasn't a bad dad. He was a normal dad. And that's why one of the scenes...
That's like how... they made it in such a way that you can't blame what happens on a certain thing, like a trauma or anything.
To a certain point, you can't even blame the boy.
You can't. It's like there's so many issues that led to it. So it was so layered. It's like... Anyway,
that's the right way to say
it.
Yeah, sorry, producer.
Producer,
next question.
Because there's so much to talk about that we need
agreed,
to just...
agreed.
Let's talk about the two tough territories, teen violence, toxic masculinity, and online influence. Do you think it handled those topics sensitively and properly?
I 100% agree with that. Most shows like this that want to tackle a tough subject get really performative, and it sounds preachy. This one didn't. It seemed very grounded. It explained how everything actually ties in together and actually has a very important part to play. Nothing at all felt like it was, how most TV shows these days have to do something for like ratings, there needs to be shock value. There was none of that this time, which is what I enjoyed. Like, I need good TV shows, good storytelling that doesn't have just unnecessary shock value in there.
Fully agreed. Very real, very like exactly what you said, not preachy. In no way did I think that, okay, they're trying to like go out of the way to like preach something. If anything, I felt like they were just showing reality as it is. It was more like the show was like a mirror to reality, like as it is. If there's a smudge on the mirror, also you're seeing it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Did it feel more like a drama, crime thriller, or social commentary? Or a mix of each?
I think it was a mix of all three.
Yeah. Drama, crime thriller,
100%.
social commentary. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's life.
Yeah.
You have drama in life, social commentary, obviously.
Life is never just one genre, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like every single moment can be both funny and sad and deeply traumatic.
And there were I would say slight comedic pauses, but also dark comedy. Like slight, just to get the show going.
Yeah.
And obviously they were showing a family, parents, that dynamic. So there was some little bit,
I guess my one criticism, but I also understand why it's not there, is that when we're talking about how we got to see every character's perspective, we didn't see the girl's family's perspective, which is really important. I get why it's a why done it, so you're not
I was
getting
just about
into
to
the
say
whole
exactly.
thing. But it's also like I would have loved to see a perspective where it's her parents saying why.
So apparently they are working on a season 2, but I don't think it's a continuation of this story. But maybe in that they change the lens.
Maybe.
You know how when you play a game, I have GT in mind, when you're one character, then you change to another character and you do it from another POV.
Yeah.
I felt this entire series was a lot like that. From one episode was from the boys, and the second episode from the family, third episode from the police person, stuff like that, police officer. You are right. Criticism could be that, but it did the job without
yeah,
showing
as
it.
in, it's not a criticism per se. Perhaps it's a point to
Feedback,
note. Yeah,
as a
feedback.
viewer.
It's like if maybe a fifth episode would have been
Yeah,
nice. That's
yeah,
all.
agreed,
Like I mean,
agreed.
I love that they kept it short in the sense that they had a point, they had a story they wanted to convey, and they didn't go beyond that. They
Yeah.
weren't trying to be like, hey, let's do 10 episodes because money.
Bollywood,
Yeah,
bas kheenchna
yeah,
hai to kheenchna, yeah, nothing like
they-
that.
I'm
Agreed.
so glad they weren't
Agreed,
doing that.
agreed, yeah.
Let's talk about the cultural impact. Do you see this as a series that should be shown in schools or discussed in classrooms?
100%.
But in Pakistan,
100%.
yeah,
100%.
no.
Like, we gotta have tough conversations everywhere we are, right? Everywhere in the world you're raising kids, and everywhere in the world you have access to social media. Everywhere.
I 100% agree, but at the same time, I feel like there are lots of limitations. I mean, if you ask me, yes, but if you then talk about limitations that come into existence, like with the structure of education in Pakistan, I feel like not a lot of institutions would be like, okay, let's make kids sit and watch
I mean,
Adolescence.
I could go into a whole commentary on educational policy in Pakistan that doesn't cover half the things most people should know. So I totally get that this would not. Most schools even around the world don't teach you how to do your taxes or any financial literacy.
Which is an essential thing, because
It
I don't
is-
remember using any mathematical equations that I learned and dimag kharab
I'm
over
not using
in my
geometry
life.
in
Yeah.
real life. Let's be honest. I'm not an architect.
But to answer the producer's question, I feel like yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, because like we said in the first question, which I answered, was that a lot of these themes are what surround us in everyday life. We must talk about it. We must give the knowledge and information, and also we need to, apart from talking about it, we also need to listen to the younger generation, listen to how they're feeling, let them express themselves in the right way, in the right you could say channel, because then if they choose the wrong way,
Yeah,
Things go
the
haywire.
one thing I will add is that one thing that we spoke about before this was that how we were in high school doesn't at all relate to how people are in high school now. Forget
Not at
our
all.
parents' generation, not understanding ours, the divide between our parents' generation and if let's say they're raising kids now, I mean it'd be like there'd be no
Yeah.
communication at all.
yeah, absolutely.
And if there's already such a gap between our generation and the next one, that's how much is it going to get bigger. So if we don't talk about it now and let the kids know that we understand how they communicate and that they're let's say even if we don't get the kids to watch it in classrooms, like the UK Prime Minister literally said it in UK Parliament to make this a part of UK curriculum, which is crazy and amazing. If we don't let's say we don't do that, the kids will watch it on Netflix anyway because we have no idea what
Yeah.
anybody's watching on Netflix, right? You have constant access to it on your phone, whatever. So it's like
And a couple of things that are considered cool now with the younger generation is number one, to hate on social media.
yeah.
That's considered cool, right? The other thing is to not be vocal about how they're truly feeling emotionally, especially about young boys, I would say. So these two things I feel like can really be channeled or navigated through, such policies. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think we need a season 2 or this story is more powerful as a one and done?
I believe it's a one and done. My personal opinion. Unless they want to make this an anthology series where it's like every season is a different case, that would make a lot of sense. Totally cool with that. A different adolescent issue. But I'll be very happy if they don't ruin it. Don't ruin
As
it.
far as I know, I think Netflix has already heard you, because that's exactly what they're going forward with. I don't think they're continuing the story, but they are doing season 2. Fun fact, Brad Pitt is one of the producers.
Yes, Plan B Entertainment is
yeah,
Brad Pitt's
yeah.
thing.
So from what I've heard in my basic research as a viewer is that they are doing season 2, a different story though.
Nice.
Yeah. Would love to. I mean, again, would love to watch it, but would love that one day we don't have such stories to tell. I hope it just becomes
That's
inspired by a story 10 years ago, 20
That's
years
wishful
ago.
thinking.
Yeah, it's wishful, but
I appreciate that wishful thinking.
I'm a positive human being.
I am
yeah.
not.
Yeah, I'm Captain America. Yeah.
Okay, so
Iron Man.
must watch, skip it, or save it for the right mood. Also, would you recommend watching it in one go?
Ooh.
Or
I did not watch it in one go. I watched it in 2 parts. That said, if I had the time, I think I would have done it in one sitting. It's 4 hours. You can technically watch it in one evening. I would just give everyone a content warning that's going to get really heavy. If you know that I feel like you can watch it in one sitting. And to answer the second part of the question, everybody has to watch this. Not only because of the message, but also because it's fantastic television.
Yeah, cinematography and everything.
Everything.
Yeah, from my end, I would say it's a must-watch. Like the producer said, it's a must-watch. You should not. But however, what the question that the producer mentioned, you do need to be in a certain mood. You can't be like, okay, doing a bunch of things and you put Adolescence. No,
No.
the show needs all your attention. It
100%.
deserves all your attention in terms of the acting done by the actors, the camera work, the story, everything, the message. It deserves your undivided attention. No phone using, no scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. Watch the show and watch the show only.
Episode 3, not like micro expressions are so huge in the show, and episode 3 you'll understand why. Like if anybody's seen episode 3 or you need to watch it, you will get it when you start watching it. You can't take your eyes off the screen for even 1 second.
And I'll disagree with Sharmeen on just this one point that people should not watch all 4 episodes together. Personally, I feel like because it's such a heavy show, there's so much to take from that show. If in order to actually take all the themes that they're trying to portray within each episode has a different theme apart from the overarching theme. I would say space it out, go have lunch, eat something, chill for a bit, go out, see the world, then come back, start the other episode.
I'm just a dive in the deep end kind of person. I'm just like at first.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our take on Adolescence on Netflix.
How would you rate it out of 5?
Out of 5, I would give a solid 4.75.
I would give it a 6 out of 5.
Oh damn, 1 point extra.
It's
All right.
by far my favorite show of 2024.
Ta-dum.
2025, sorry. My gosh, it's in middle of the quarter 2025 is past. I'm still saying 2025.
Ta-dum! Hope you guys like this review video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned to City FM 89.